Welcome to the Talking Texas Rangers podcast. I am your host, Larry Elise. Today we're diving into the latest news coming out of Globe Life Field. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Audible, for sponsoring this episode. What is Audible, you ask? That is a great question. Let me tell you all about them. Audible is a subscription service that allows you, the listener and viewer, to buy audiobooks that you can listen to on your phone. Audible allows you to choose from a gigantic array of audiobooks narrated by amazing narrators that you can listen to from anywhere, in your car, at home, on the go, on your phone, your laptop, pretty much any device you have. Right now I'm listening to The Dead Zone by Stephen King, narrated by Oscar-winning actor James Franco. It's the chilling story of a high school teacher who falls into a coma and wakes up with psychic abilities. In all seriousness, audiobooks are great for when you're alone and should maybe stop with the YouTube right now. But I ask you this one question. Do you want a free audiobook of your choice? Then go to audibletrial.com/Larry21. And now on to our first topic. Perez is on one hell of a hot streak. Martin Perez pitched yet another gem for the Texas Rangers on Thursday for his 200th career start, as he worked through Oakland's lineup with ease, going 7 innings and allowing only 1 run. It's been a career year for Perez thus far, as his ERA is now 1.6, which ranks second in the MLB, behind only Justin Verlander. That's number 2 out of the entire league. To go with this impressive ERA, Perez is also second in the MLB in quality starts with 7, and is ranked 6th in pitching WAR, working with his 2 different fastballs, throwing strikes, and executing pitches. Has Perez looking like a completely different pitcher than the league has become accustomed to over his what is now 11-year career. As Perez continues to dominate in a way we haven't seen before, he is, however, still flying under the national recognition radar, as excellent pitchers on losing teams often do, especially those that pitch by execution like Perez does, rather than relying on flashy stuff to get by. Although the ESPNs of the world likely will not speak much on Perez's stellar performances this year, he's quickly becoming a household name in the Rangers rotation. He has been nothing short of phenomenal on the mound, and he is spearheading a pitching staff that looks as if they turned things around in a huge way from their lackluster start of the season. Not only is he pitching phenomenal, he's also setting a good example. As Martin Perez stepped to the mound, donning for, I can never say the city right, but for Uvalde on his cap in Thursday's game in honor of the victims of the tragic shooting which occurred earlier in the week. In the aftermath of his masterful 200th career start, Perez stated, "It's hard to believe what happened there. I have kids too. It's really bad what happened to those kids. We feel that because we all have family. Every time I went out there, I said this for the city. They have to stop this. It cannot continue to happen. Surely a meaningful moment for him to pay tribute to the fallen and to shift focus to the things that are far more important than baseball." However, this isn't the first time he has dedicated an amazing start to a good cause. As earlier this month, he dedicated a complete game shutout victory to Rangers third base coach Tony Beasley, giving him the game ball. Perez shed the spotlight, as he often seems to do, to highlight things he deems more important. Beasley, a cancer survivor, is a valued part of the Rangers and the Rangers culture as a whole, as he's left his inspirational mark on the team through his triumphant story of his fight against cancer. Both Perez and Joey Gallo have made tributes to Beasley, touting how important of a human he is. Perez was brought in to be a veteran presence and an innings eater for a young staff that was supposed to be in a developmental year. But he has been leading the way by setting the example of how to not only execute a strong pitching performance, but to be of high moral character as well. While we cannot see what the future holds, whether that be an all-star appearance or awards consideration at the end of the year, we can see the performances that he has continued to put on throughout his impressive streak and root for him to continue it, as it's been a long time that a Texas Rangers pitcher was this impressive. So let the big media outlets remain quiet on Perez. But we certainly notice him here in Texas as we have something special here. And we're looking forward to more impressive outings to come. And now on to a sadder note. The Rangers failed to sweep the A's. The Rangers scored 5 runs, but the Athletics scored 6. The Rangers and A's played the game like each player had been given a secret directive by a bored millionaire to personally try to sabotage their team and lose. Evidence? Well, here you go. The Rangers allowed 14 hits, walked 6, and committed 5 errors, among a slew of other defensive blunders that allowed Oakland to whittle down their 4-0 early lead, despite the A's nearly refusing to do so at every turn. Oakland, meanwhile, tried to bunt in runs to give away outs and kill rallies like 87 times on Sunday, and even allowed the tying run in the top of the 9th on a wild pitch after they had taken a reluctant lead. In the end, the Rangers thrilled a rich guy but lost a truly, truly miserable game. The defeat ruined Texas's chances at a season-high winning streak, a winning road trip, a sweep, and .500. Disappointment again. Is there a player in the game? Not really. But looking forward, the Rangers head back home, where they're beginning a series against the Rays. Glenn Otto will make the start for the Texas in the opener against Drew Rasmussen for Tampa Bay. Monday night's pitch is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Central Time. And now on to our weekly report. Who's hot, who's not. This week, the Rangers went on a mini divisional road trip and ran into some issues. Their first stop was down south against the in-state rival Houston Astros, where they lost 3 games. As a Rangers fan, you just want to burn the tapes from that series, except for the Martin Perez complete game shutout, and move on with the season. Then the Rangers went out to the West Coast and split the 2-game mini-series against the Angels. On the final game against the Angels on Wednesday night, Cole Calhoun went off against his former team, hitting a 2-run home run and driving in another run later in the game to help the Rangers to a 7-2 victory. Find out who made the Texas Rangers weekly report right now. So up first, who's hot? We got Glenn Otto. Glenn Otto showed up in a big way on Wednesday night against the Angels. In 5 innings, he only allowed 1 earned run, struck out 7. Did I mention he struck out Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani twice? The Rangers needed a pitcher to show up in a big way to avoid getting swept twice in a row, and Otto did just that. Next up, Cole Calhoun. His new nickname should be the Angel Slayer. As I previously mentioned, his offense was one of the reasons why the Rangers avoided 2 straight sweeps this past week. Up next, the Frisco Rough Riders. The Rough Riders had to play 2 games on Wednesday night since Tuesday's game was rained out. In the final game Wednesday night, they gave the crowd some fireworks. The Rough Riders hit 3 home runs to give them a 6-1 victory over the San Antonio Missions. And then, Sam Huff. It was mentioned on Twitter by Dallas sports fanatic Rangers writer Alex Plink that as of Wednesday night, Sam Huff has recorded a hit in 13 straight games that he has started since being called up from Round Rock. And then, how could we not include Martin Perez? Perez put on a pitching performance against the Astros by giving the Rangers their first complete game shutout of the season. Perez only allowed 8 hits and struck out 5 in 9 innings of work. And like we previously mentioned, Perez even gave the game ball to Rangers third base coach Tony Beasley after the game. Unfortunately, we got to take a look at the who's not hot right now. First up, Mike Trout, clearly. The Rangers were able to strike him out 4 times on Wednesday night, making that the 8th time in his career that's happened to him. He'll probably look back at the highlights, learn from what he did wrong at the plate, and continue his season. And now, Dane Dunning. While Dunning struck out 8 batters against the Angels on Tuesday, you can't overlook the 5 runs he gave up in 6 innings. That was a winning game on Tuesday night, and if he pitched just a tad better, I think the Rangers could have won that game and would have gone on to sweep the Angels. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Should there be somebody we included on who's hot and who's not list? Let us know. Is there somebody we included that shouldn't be included? Leave a comment in the comment section below. And now on to our next topic. The Texas Rangers are getting back to relevance. The 2022 season is still young, so there's still much left to learn about this Rangers team. But if one thing has come into focus recently, it's that on-field improvements become tangible for this club. With an 8-5 win over the Oakland A's Friday night at the Coliseum, the Rangers secured their first winning month since June 2019. That was Chris Woodward's first season as a skipper. So yeah, that's quite a long while. Texas is 14-9 in May, so the worst they could finish is 14-13, and they'd have to lose out the rest of the month for that to occur. But the way they've been playing lately, that seems hard to believe, especially with 2 games remaining. Texas Rangers are guaranteed a winning month in May 2022, their first since 2019, like we mentioned. Over this winning month, we've seen the Rangers climb back to relevance by putting themselves just 3.5 games out of an AL playoff spot, heading into Memorial Day, which is far more than what we were saying about the team at the same time last season. We can't talk about playoffs, though, unless we talk about 500, which still eludes the team by 2 games. Once they cross that threshold, perhaps we can start viewing playoff talk with more seriousness. The journey back to relevance is a long one, and no team seems to exemplify that more than the Texas Rangers, who haven't had a winning season for playoff appearance since 2016, nor even a winning month since 2019, as I previously mentioned. But now the patience and the process might finally start to be paying dividends. Marcus Semien is heating up. Sam Huff and Jonah Heim have become electric as a catching duo. Cole Calhoun has provided offense. Mark Perez is pitching like a Cy Young candidate. And perhaps most importantly, the Rangers are playing together like a team that's motivated to win. They're resilient and are approaching each game the right way. Make no mistake, this team is still flawed, but they're making progress. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below on the topics we covered. Is there something we should have covered? And as always, if you want to support the show, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow us on Twitter. Up top here, Talking Texas Rangers. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you next time.